everybody, and welcome back to the Girly Girl Bookworm. So today I have a currently reading video for you. I was going to do a last 5 reads, but I've read more than 5 reads at this point. I just haven't been having the motivation to film lately. This is my husband's new office, so when he's working I can't be in here filming. Obviously, he's also using my computer, so can't even film in another room. So by the time he comes downstairs, I'm just kind of ready to be with him and spend time with him and do what we need to do to get through all this. So I haven't been filming, and I really apologize. My creative juices haven't even been there to want to film, which is difficult too. So I don't know. We're just going to try to film some things and get some things up there. But I hope you guys have been doing really well, staying healthy, staying safe, and we're going to beat this virus together. So if you want more definitely current up-to-dates, definitely check me out on Instagram. I'll link my link down below as always. I'm more prevalent on there because it's just easier to post on there than it is to post here every day. So if you want more play-by-plays and up-to-date information about me, definitely check out my Instagram. So I'm just going to get started. We're just going to go through everything I've been reading. Some of the books I have here, some of them I don't. So the first book that I read was The Holdout. If you catch me looking down, I'm checking my Instagram to make sure I do things in order, by Graham Moore. And this was a phenomenal read. I gave this 4.5 stars. Right now I don't have it because my brother-in-law has it. He wanted some book recommendations, and I put a bag of 10 books together and gave it to him. So that must speak highly of this book that I just read it and already am recommending it. This follows a woman, and she is on a jury, and she basically convinces everybody that this teacher did not kill his student, and so they kind of let him go. And now it's 10 years later, and there's kind of a documentary that's being filmed, so they're trying to get all the jurors back together, and she's kind of hesitant about going, and she goes, and eventually they find a dead body in her room, and obviously eyes point to her. So we're trying to solve actually 2 mysteries of what really happened in the past and what currently is going on now. The past is really fun because we're alternating perspectives between all the jurors, and the current timeline we're just really following our main character. But it was a really great read. 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend. Then I read The Jet Setters by Jane Eyre Ward. This is the Reese Witherspoon pick for March, and I didn't like it. That's why it's not here. I already traded it. I was going to hold on to it. I was like, I'm going to keep all my Reese Witherspoon books. And then I saw somebody trading a book that I really wanted, and that was the one book that they wanted. And I was like, okay, I'm going to part with it early because you know what? I didn't like it. I spent $19 on it. I'm frustrated looking at it on my shelf, so I traded it immediately. This follows a woman who kind of has a falling apart with her children, and it's now years later, and she enters this contest to win a cruise, and she enters it and wins, and now her and her 3 children are going on this cruise. I talk more about it, obviously, in my Reese Witherspoon video, so I'll link it up here somewhere. It was bad. It ignored so many problems. Everybody had 20 million problems to begin with, and it just didn't address it. The mom would shrug things off, or she would just change the subject. It was not a good book. I could not stand it. I gave it 1 star. It was that bad. I tried to read my Dark Vanessa. I got about 96 pages in, and I had to put it down. It was too dark for me right now. There's too much going on with the world that this is too dark, and I couldn't do it. It follows an inappropriate relationship between a teacher and a student. And now I'm a teacher, my husband's a teacher, my godmother's a teacher, my mother-in-law's a teacher. There's lots of teachers in my life, and watching teachers bend over backwards to get curriculum out to students right now, and seeing their heart, and to read about somebody who's taking advantage of that role really hurt me, and it was not doing well for me, and so I had to put it down. I don't know if I'm going to pick it up because I'm still getting nightmares because of this book, and I don't know what to do. So I may pick it back up. I haven't decided. Then after that, I read His Royal Highness by R.S. Gray because I just needed to try to read something light and fluffy, and this was a really cute book. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. We follow these characters in a basically fictional Disney world, which, you know me, I love me some Disney World. So being a book set in a fictional Disney world was just my jam. I think partially gave it 3.5 stars because my brain just wasn't really well at reading in general, so it took me way longer to read this than I should have. But we're following our two characters. We're following Derek and we're following, can't remember her name. I can't believe I can't find her name. I can't find her name. I just keep finding Derek's name. Does she even have a name at this rate? Whatever, doesn't matter. She plays the fairy tale princess, and her love interest Derek basically he's the grandson of the owner and president of this Disney World. It's called Fairy Tale Land. And when she was first joining the program, because she kind of had a rough childhood and upbringing, so she really gets into this fairy tale land. So she decides to do a college program through there, and she ends up with Derek as a mentor because he's a little bit older than her. And she kind of has this crush on him, and she really likes him, but then he ends up going off to their London branch, and she kind of loses touch with him, and now it's 8 years later, and it's kind of their second chance romance, and I really enjoyed it. Thought it was really cute. That's probably why I don't even want to remember her name. She got on my nerves. She was very immature feeling. Derek was the best love interest you can have. He was really sweet. I really liked him. She was just annoying. But other than that, it was a really sweet read. Highly, highly recommend it. It is on Kindle Unlimited if you are interested in possibly picking that one up. Then I read Unfollow Me by Charlotte Duckworth. I read this through NetGalley, and it came out at the end of March, and it was okay. I gave it 3 stars. It follows this, there's a YouTube personality. She's very big on social media, and one day her social media completely disappears. And so we're following 2 women who are very interested in finding out what happened to this mommy vlogger. So we're alternating perspectives. These 2 people are not connected. So like they're very 2 different people. So it's not like they're working together to figure out what happened to this this mommy vlogger. I don't know. I had a lot of problems with it. The pacing was weird. It just kind of was dull. It just kind of was a book. And then there is a infertility issue that I don't appreciate the way it was handled. Overall, I was bored by it. The ending was very lackluster. It was okay. And then I read Something She's Not Telling Us by Darcy Bell. I read this also through NetGalley, and I really wanted to read this because I really liked A Simple Favor by her last year, so I wanted to give this one a shot. And this one is about a woman, and she has her family. She's basically got it all. She's got her apartment, she's got a job, she's got her child, she's got a husband. She seems to have it all. And her brother kind of he's an alcoholic and a recovering alcoholic and just kind of a mess. And he always dates all these like trashy women. And one day he brings this other woman home, like another girlfriend. And we know that things seem off about her. And we finally find out at one point in the very beginning that the main woman's daughter goes missing. And obviously eyes turn to this girlfriend. So we're alternating timelines between like what was happening from like when we first meet the girlfriend on, but we're also following like the current timeline of this daughter being missing. I liked the pacing of it. It did feel a little disjointed in sections, but for the most part the pacing was good until the end. By the end I was just like, is this over yet? The answer was no. And then the pacing kind of finally like kicked back in. I was like, yeah, we're here. And then the ending just like didn't end. I like flipped the page thinking I was going to get an epilogue or like another chapter. And it was like the acknowledgements page. And I was like, what? We went through all that for like, no, we get no resolution. Like it felt like it had no ending, so I gave it 3 stars. Again, it had potential. These 2 had potential, just didn't go anywhere for me. And then after that, I read Baking with a Rock Star by Jasmine Miller. This one I read on my Kindle you'll notice the last 3 basically I read on my Kindle because my head space, like I went from reading my Dark Vanessa for a week and getting nowhere with it, and then basically reading this for a week and getting nowhere. Then all of a sudden my reading kick gotten back into gear because I started reading ebooks. And I was like, I'm reading all my Netgalleys, which is great, but I wasn't doing anything for my TBR. So I decided to pick this one up because I knew I could read it on Kindle Unlimited, and so I could still have the Kindle experience but still tackle my physical TBR. So I read this on my Kindle, but I obviously have the physical copy. This is book 1 in the Bakersville series, and I am so excited to continue with the series. This is such a sweet series. It's about a girl. She is a single parent. We know that she just recently moved to California with a family friend. She's obviously escaping something from her past. We don't know what that is yet. One day, she knows that this like rock star is coming to her town. She's like, whatever. And this guy enters her home and she literally throws pizza dough at him because she's like, who are you? Why are you in my house? Turns out it's the rock star. He is the woman that she's staying with's grandson. And it's their romance. Super sweet. He's not that typical drugs and rock and roll and drama type of person. I do wish there was a little bit more drama in this. Like, they kept hinting that there was going to be like this big drama, and like it kind of just like fizzled out to not a big deal. So they didn't really have a lot of problems as characters. They could have had more problems than it turned out to be, but super sweet read, 4 stars. Cannot wait to continue on with the companion series to get her friend and his brother's romance. I'm so excited. Then after that, I was actually reading 2 books at once. Actually, I kind of was doing it at that point too. I had been listening to Una Out of Order, leave a picture here, by Margarita Montemore. I've been wanting to read this book, but I was on my book buying ban, so I couldn't. And one day, because I'm a BookSparks member, they sent out their weekly email, and in the email there was a link to 5 audiobooks, and you got to choose an audiobook to download through Libro FM, not form. And I chose Una Out of Order, and I devoured this audiobook. I listened to it on 2 times speed, and I devoured this book. This is a book about Una, and we are following her. She's on the eve of her 19th birthday. Her birthday is on New Year's, so we're like partying with her, we're celebrating with her, and midnight hits, and all of a sudden she wakes up in her 51-year-old body. And she learns that she now is only going to be able to spend 1 year in that life. So she'll spend a year as 51. Midnight's gonna hit. She's gonna go to any year. It could be older, it could be younger. There's no rhyme or reason to what age she jumps to or leaps to. This was a very beautiful story. I ended up giving it 4 stars as well. By the end, the feelings that happened, like in the beginning I was kind of like, this is great, and then I got to the middle, I was like, well, what's the point of this? Like, are we getting anywhere with this? Why is she leaping? What's happening? Because I always want a why. That's why magical realism tends to not work for me, because I'm always like, why is this happening? I need a reason. And then by the end, I was bawling. It's so sad. It's an emotional read. It's got such a great message. Highly recommend it. I was nervous because there was so much hype surrounding this book. Everybody's been loving it, and I was nervous that I was not going to. And I was wrong. I really enjoyed this one and highly recommend it. And then I was also reading The Affair by J.L. Berg because I had to, I pre-ordered it in February, so I either had to read it in February or read it in March, and so we're winding down at the end of March, so I had to read this one. And this one is a really sweet romance of a girl. She is recently divorced, and she, all of a sudden her father dies, and her mother just like up and leaves to move in with her brother, leaving her the house, leaving her the family business, and now she's just kind of like in scrambles. In walks her and her ex-brother-in-law, and feelings start to happen. And she also discovers a journal from her grandmother that's kind of alluding to the fact that history might be repeating itself. It was a really great story. I gave it 4.5 stars. The back makes it sound like it's going to be this big taboo type of thing with like dating your ex-brother-in-law, but it didn't feel that way. It felt very sweet. It felt very natural. It didn't feel forced. It didn't feel dirty. It just felt like a good romance. This is my third book by her because I originally read the Forgetting August duology, and I also have Within Her Walls on my Kindle to read at some point. I love her writing. She just is so easy to get captured with, and again, by the end, I was bawling in this book too. Basically, all the crying, all of the feels, all of the crying. And now I'm currently hoping that this will be my last book of March unless I somehow magically finish it today. And then I have time to read something tomorrow. But I'm currently reading Open Book by Jessica Simpson. I broke my book bind band just a little bit I needed something. And I picked this one because I needed to read I needed to read a nonfiction for this month. And all my nonfiction is kind of depressing. And this is not as depressing. So I'm really enjoying this one so far. So this one will be in my next wrap up. So I think at this point moving forward, I'm not going to really be doing last 5 reads because I don't know how often I'll be able to get into this room to film. But I hope you enjoyed this style of a wrap up of just kind of a plethora of things that I've been reading. So I've definitely had some books that were kind of but I definitely had some books that I really enjoyed as well. So I hope you found something that you are interested in. Let me know what you're reading down below, and I will see you guys really soon. Bye, everybody.